heritage beliefs are still as important to the living Kaurna people today. So firstly, roll call. Everyone is here. There are no apologies. Are there any motions to grant leave of absence, councillors? There be none. There is nobody on leave of absence. There is no non-attendance. Public open forum is item 3, and we have 3 people who wish to speak, and I'll call them in order of which they will come up. Firstly is Mr. Peter Bailey, secondly is Ms. Tracy Hall, and thirdly is Mr. Ian Tooley. So Peter Bailey, if you'd like to come forward, thank you. You could turn your mic on when you get to the podium.
Is it on?
Yes,
Cool.
it's on.
Hi all. I don't know how much time I've got, but
You've got 3 minutes, and I'll give you a 30-second warning.
wow, I have to move then because I allowed for what time I had last time. Anyway, I did not expect to have to address you again on the subject of the Gawler Car Club's plight to build a facility for their members and others to use, given your support for the club a couple of meetings back. The club thank you for that support, and you know the outcome from emails sent to you by me regarding the showground proposal. I'm asking again for your support for the motion 16.2 tonight, which Councillor Shanks is proposing. From the meeting on the site mentioned in Councillor Shanks' preamble and the further site meeting with the CEO, planning and building representatives, the club was then requested in writing to advise its intended use of the land being the old Patank grounds. This was the second time we would be requesting the consideration for the use of that ground. The first request by email for consideration of that site for club facility was made by the car club president on the 25th of January 2021 and was ignored as there was no reply to that email. The second written recent the 11th of July request by the club secretary received a reply from the acting CEO, Paul Horwood. That reply and most of the information requested therein was ridiculous and has taken us back 10 years. The club has invested many thousands of dollars in the Little Paxton Street site, and having been approached by Councillor Shanks in reference to the results of the club's bore drillings and his discussion with an appropriate engineer and my confirmation with a retired structural engineer, there is a possibility that that structure could be built on that site. Location of the building in the best position would need to be determined after further investigation. Please support this motion and do the required drilling for soil bearing capacity before you go into caretaker mode and more time wasted waiting for results otherwise. Further delay is adding cost to the building structure, which is now estimated to be $50,000 more. Please listen to Councillor Shanks. He knows what he is talking about, and he has offered more sense than I can say for Gawler Council administration. Furthermore, I suggest Councillor Shanks and staff member Jack Dazanos oversee the project and recommend Hunnett Engineering to be contacted for advice. Thank you for listening. We all hope for a positive outcome. I did it in time, yeah?
Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. Next is Tracy. Tracy, if you'd like to come forward, thank you.
Thank you. I'm Tracy. We've met you a few times from the Gawler Community Garden. Thank you so much for your support in finding money in this year's budget to go towards the fencing, secure fencing. And we're really looking forward to getting a lease passed at this meeting so we can actually start on the garden. And hopefully there won't be problems with that and we can get rolling with that. We're hoping also that we could get a slave water meter. Their library and council is doing the small garden between the library and us. So you'll need taps and things there. And if we can get a slave meter put in there, then we'll be all set to actually get clearing, fencing and gardening. And Also, just to add that the community garden speaks for the community garden and others do not represent us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tracy. Next is Mr. Ian Tooley. Ian, you can come up. Thank you.
Mayor, just a correction before I start. I've just looked at the regulations. It says that we have 5 minutes each in the public
Yeah,
forum,
that's
not
right.
3.
That's right.
That's
Thank
right,
you.
isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. Yep.
I'll give you a 30-second warning.
Thank you. I want to speak about the decision this council made to invest staff time in an urgent report to celebrate a coronation for a living monarch. Of all the things that you could have prioritised to fast track, you chose to prioritise to fast track how Gawler might celebrate the coronation of a new monarch. Not even the UK is talking about a coronation. Councillor Fraser said in the meeting that one person had mentioned the lack of the celebration of the Platinum Jubilee. And Councillor Sample said, yeah, a couple of people have spoken to me about that. And so that was the reason you thought you better get something done about getting a coronation celebration done. Like I said, not even the UK are talking about that. You've taken staff time away from their important work when we're told that we are hit by COVID, we've got staff shortages, we've had a massive turnover of executive and staff, but you've dragged the staff away to work on how Gawler might celebrate a coronation. There are so many things you could have prioritised as this council, but you didn't just say you wanted a report on that, you wanted it brought back by today. And the CEO, it's reported, said, oh, hang on, we need a little bit more time, but you want it done before the end of this term, as if this is the most important thing your business could be. I stumbled across today a bit of a video of Councillor Hughes and the Mayor talking about how important it is. I didn't watch it, I just couldn't stand it, but there was some talk there about, you know, the importance of listening to the people. You've never listened to the people. You've had thousands of people tell you that they want action about the rural zone. You had more people tell you they didn't want 1 more cent spent on the Rusty Nails sculpture than voted in the last election, but you ignored it. You had 1,600 people tell you they didn't want the Walker Place toilets demolished. You've got people screaming at you about that lump of concrete out the front of Faster Pastor they want action on. You've got a homeless crisis in this town of people who are sleeping rough, and we've heard of people dying because they're sleeping rough. You could have said, I want a report back from the staff, drag them off their important work to give us a report on how we in Gawler could care for the homeless people. This council knocked down a shelter that the police and the salvos knew where the homeless were on Reed Street, and you demolished it without asking us. It was me that got the motion that forced this council to get that reinstated, and it took you 3 years to act on that. Councillor Shanks came in with a quote that said you could do that in 10 to 15,000. You accepted a quote from an external company for about 40,000, and then you had to halt it because it was faulty. Your own planning people found faults in it. It's only now being reinstated. There are so many things that are screaming out to be done. We've got massive development on our boundaries, and that massive development is because we have an electrified railway line and we have the Northern Expressway. People would kill to have, I was speaking to 2 other mayors today, they would kill to have an electrified railway line at the end of their town. We have it, but for 3 years while that was waiting, this administration did nothing to prepare for it. We have all those people that already come in and try to park to get onto Gawler Central. And there's going to be even more when Villawood and the 3 other developments between us and Roseworthy come online. Where are they going to park? You've done nothing to prioritise that we could have had a park and ride built on the footprint of that car park beside the Gawler Central Railway Station. But no, what you've done with your consultants, you've talked about building a multi-storey one here next to the old TAFE building, which will not work, like your other ones around the town do not work. You need to put it where the people are. But you did not prioritise any of that. What you prioritised was how Gawler might celebrate a coronation of a living monarch. Let me tell you something from history. King George V died in February 1952. The Queen became the monarch instantly, but she wasn't coronated for 18 months. Why? Because there's a protocol in
You've got 30
England.
seconds.
Thank you, Mayor, I know. You've got a protocol in England that says there is a mourning period to respect the monarch. You would have had ample time to celebrate the monarch and talk about it in the 18 months following their death, but she's still alive. And she's not talking about abdicating, but you made that a priority. If there was any message that you've just sent to this community as to why they should vote, it's because you have shown us that your time has come.
Thank you, Mr.
You're a
Chorley.
councillor that's
Your time's up.
disconnected and is not relevant
you.
and is not listening to the community, and your time has
Thank
cut
you.
and you will be voted out.
Thank you.
Disgusting.
You can sit down. Thank you very much. Okay, that concludes public open forum. Declaration, there's no deputations. Declarations of interest, councillors. Any declarations of interest in any matter coming up for discussion tonight? Thank you, councillor Sample. Oh, thank you. Now you're right. Thank you, Brian. Yep.
Yes, I am a financial member of the Gawler Vintage and Veteran Car Club and also a financial member of the Gawler Show Society and proudly a life member of the Gawler Show Society, but I am not on any of their committees and will be supporting in which way we can.
So you're declaring a perceived conflict? Is that what you wish? Is that what you wish to do, Brian, for both those matters? That's 16.2 and 19.1. Okay, thank you. I need to declare perceived conflict in 10.6. I am a member of Garrock currently, and that's a perceived conflict. And I will deal with the matter by staying in the room and making, if I make any decision, it will be in the best interests of the community at large. Any other conflicts, Councillor Deputy Mayor?
Yeah, for 19.1 of the perceived interest, I'm also a financial member of the Gawler Show as well, but not a member of their committee.
Okay. And that's a, how do you wish to deal with the conflict?
I'll be staying in the room and voting.
Okay.
But,
So when we get to that matter, whoever's declared conflicts, if we can just tell people how you will deal with the conflict.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Councillor Vallelonga.
Yeah, Mayor, I was a financial member for the car club, but that was before COVID. I've never joined again.
Okay,
So,
so you're not a member?
No, not
Okay.
now. I will join again, but I'm not a member.
You're not a member. Okay, thank you. All right, anybody else? No? Beautiful, thank you. There's no adjourned items. So we'll move to petitions, which is on page 5 of our agenda. Happy to move that way, Deputy Mayor. Do you wish to speak at all? Do I have a seconder? Councillor Vallelonga, any discussion? Councillor Shanks.
Yeah, I think we all know what's going on with the Edith Street Short and Blanche. The process of petitions is something that I think we should hold a high level of importance to. We've had some new, Gawler's had some new residents move into the Edith Street area and share the same concerns. I went along to the community meeting that was called by Tony Piccolo at the Salvation Army church there on Edith Street. It was very constructive, and I think a letter has been sent to our CEO just outlining some potential solutions that may be able to be looked at. So look, I'm keen to see the response on that. I'm keen to see what we can do for these people, because Yeah, they do have a problem. And whether or not the solution is a road closure, which I'm not sure that I'm fully supportive of, but there is a solution to this problem that I think can be looked at logically. And I look forward to the conversations to come, but I do thank the residents for using this process and making their concerns heard. That's all an important part of democracy. So, yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, Deputy Mayor, you happy for me to put the motion? I'll put that motion. All those in favour, please raise your hand. Carried unanimously. Thank you. Confirmation of minutes. We have one set of minutes, 28th of June, 2022, ordinary council meeting. You have to move that way, Deputy Mayor. Seconded by Councillor Vallelonga. Any discussion? If not, I'll put that motion. All those in favour, carried unanimously. Business arising from minutes. Be none. Now, I do have two requests before we go into the decision reports. One is that the just get my agenda. 12.1.2, which is the lease agreement for the Gawler Community Garden Committee. And also I've had a request that the Show Society matter, which is a confidential report, be also moved forward. We can do them one at a time. Now, I think, is somebody happy to move that we move 12.1.2 forward?
Look,
Okay.
I'd like to move a motion that we move that forward, and the reason
Just the community garden matter?
just the community garden matter to start with.
Yep. Do I have a seconder for that? Thank you, Councillor Vallelonga. So that motion. So we have a motion moved by Councillor Koch and seconded by Councillor Vallelonga that item 12.1.2 be moved forward. Does everyone know what they're voting on? Yep. Thank you. 12.1.2 be brought forward. I'm going to put that motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. That is carried unanimously. We've just moved it forward. That's all we've done. That's all we've done, ladies. Okay, so we'll deal with this matter, and then I think Councillor Davies, you're going to move that the confidential matter be moved forward, and we'll see where that goes. So we'll deal with this matter. So we are now discussing 12.1.2, which is up on the screen there. It is in our agenda papers on page 53, if you're using electronic agendas. 12.1.2, lease agreement, Gawler Community Garden. Councillor Koch, are you happy to move the motion?
Yeah, I'm happy to move that and speak to it quickly.
Yes.
I'd like to encourage all councillors to adopt this motion. We've discussed this over a long time. In particular, we had a very good discussion at the Corporate and Community Services Committee where it was passed. I think it was unanimously. Community gardens are very special places in our community. They provide social benefits and health benefits. In fact, it's referenced in our regional health plan as one of the pillars within that plan. This community group has been working on this proposal for a number of years. They've worked very diligently at this. They're now incorporated. They've got a bank account. They've got a committee, and now they're ready for the next step forward. We've allocated some funds in the budget to assist them with their fence, which is very important. And there's some commitments from service groups to assist them to erect that fence. So it's actually working in with other community groups. I suppose there's some things to work out. For example, the water, as was said in the public open forum, getting access to water, potentially through a slave meter and a non-testable backflow prevention device, etc. That could be achieved, I think, quite easily. So anyway, I think this is a good opportunity for our community to get this established, and I think it will have a long and healthy future. Thank you.
Do I have a seconder? Deputy Mayor, do you wish to speak at all?
Just briefly, it has been a long process for the committee over a large number of years. So it has been a long process. So it's good to get to this stage. And yeah, as Councillor Koch said, you know, if they can get that access to water slave meter, it would save a lot of money and would be an efficient way of them actually getting water. So hopefully they can work through that with the council staff. But we had a good discussion at the CCS meeting on this, and I think this covers off on everything. So yeah, I'm very happy to second it.
Any discussion? Councillor Shanks?
I think we did have a good discussion at the CCS about it. And if you recall, actually, got a little bit more information there, and was the tipping point for me was the fact that we're able to tap into a grant funding through the FOGO that aligned with the theme for the community garden. I think it's important that we do support our community groups wherever possible. Across the board, you know. I'm happy to give this group a go and really see what they can make of the area. And again, really happy that we're supporting community groups.
Any other discussion? If not, Councillor Koch, are you happy for me to put the motion? I'm going to put that motion. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Carried unanimously. Thank you. Okay, so now I think Councillor Davies, you wanted to test the waters with this Show Society matter?
Yeah, look, this is to bring forward 19.1, the confidential report on Gawler Show. There's just a few people here from the Show Society here, but obviously it does also mean that members of the community will have to hang around outside for a little while. So up to everyone how they'd like to vote.
So we've got a mover that we move 19.1 forward. Do I have a seconder for that? Councillor Goldstein, thank you. Any discussion? If not, I'm going to put that motion that we move 19.1 forward. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Oh, can you just keep your hands up? All those in favour? All those against? It is carried. Thank you. So item 19.1 is now being moved forward, which means that we are going to consider whether to discuss this matter in confidence. If council resolves that way, then I will ask people who are not in named in the resolution to leave the room. So in this officer's recommendation, we have Show Society representatives of Claire Forgy and Steve Coulter only, but we do have other people here. We have Janet Doan and we have Isaiah Tesla. Is there anyone else from the Show Society? Anyone else? Claire? No? Is that it? So if those two people can be added. So we've got Claire Forgy, who's the president, Steve Coulter, C-O-U-L-T-E-R, Forgy I-E, and Claire is A-I-R-E. That's it. And we have Isaiah Tesla. That's right. A-A-R. Is that right, Isaiah? Have I got that right? Not quite, but it's nearly there. Isaiah, that's okay. We can fix that. And Janet Doan. And they are Show Society representatives. We can just get that right. That's okay. Show Society representatives. Thank you. Okay, so we have everyone else there. We don't have manager business. Who's acting manager? Is that you? Is that you, Chair? Your library is, we don't have the manager of business enterprises and communication. He's not here. Everyone else needs to be in the room. Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. So I just wanted to get that right. Okay. So we have a recommendation that this matter be discussed in confidence. How do you wish to proceed, Council? We do have an officer's recommendation. The officer's recommendation is on page 61 of the agenda. Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, I'm happy to move that we move into confidence because we will be discussing some sensitive matters regarding financial matters that haven't been finalised yet, but will be finalised, I hope, in the future. But I think at this stage, and with the show only 6 weeks away, that we need to get on with this matter and actually go through some of these matters. And I believe it's important that it does stay in confidence at this stage, but
Okay.
later be released.
Okay. Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Samble.
33 days before the major event of this town occurs. And so this is very important. And tonight we need to discuss this and come up with all the green lights that's needed, because it's a hell of a big job and it's a major event for our town. So I ask councillors to support it.
Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, I'm going to, Deputy Mayor, you happy for me to put the motion? I'll put that motion that we go into confidence based on the officer's recommendation. All those in favour, please raise your hands. Carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you. I can't hear you, Peter. I'm sorry. Come up so that I can hear you.
Just asking, have you got a time framing on this subject?
Oh, I'm going to say 30 minutes.
Okay, just I'm here for other reasons, obviously.
Yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Thank you, Peter.